Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 2, Episode 8 of my show, but this is about Episode 7. But before I start talking about it, I just want to mention something. Since we're on Episode 7, that means we got 2 more videos left of the 1 segment, and then we're on the 10 segment. And then once we get to episode 12, we'll have, because you see I'm going by 2. So once we get to episode 12, we'll have 40 more videos left. I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, and also, I'm running low on battery power on my iPad, so I'm going to have to make this video quick. So, and because of the battery thing, I'm going to record it today, but I might post it tomorrow. Anyway, now enough getting off topic. This is History of Power Rangers Season 2, Episode 8 of my show, but this is about Episode 7. And Episode 7 in the original Power Rangers second season is known as The Green Dream. And the way this episode starts off is Kimberly saying hi to Tommy, and then after Kimberly thinks that Danielle, Tom, sorry about that, guys. If you saw that in the video, I apologize. Anyway, after Kimberly sees that Tommy didn't hear her, he said her name again, and then basically she says his name again, and then Tommy said that he's sorry that he ignored her a little because, and the reason why is he can't think straight because he tells her about the dream he had, and then Kimberly said the dream where he loses his powers, and he said, yeah, because apparently by this point in the episode, he's had this dream like 3 nights in a row in this episode, basically, and stuff. And then, he says that he thinks that the dream is a sign that's telling him that he's, almost near the end of his, power cycle. Basically. But basically, before I continue, I just want to mention, remember when I said that he would remain the Green Ranger for the first half of the second season? I just want to mention this. What I meant by that was I meant episodes 1 to about episode 13. That's basically what I meant by first half and stuff, and then he'd become the White Ranger for the remainder of the second season and the entirety of the third season and stuff. And his loss of his Green Ranger powers permanently will basically it will get referenced in the next episode after the 2-part episode Green No More, which I will be covering. I just wanted to mention that since I brought it up. Anyway, now getting back into what I was saying, as I said, Tommy seems to think that the dream he's been having he's starting to think that it's a message that he's almost at the end of his power cycle, and then when Zedd overhears that segment of it, he's like, are those dreams wearing you down, Tommy? Like, he wonders if the dream he's been having is wearing him down, and then he sees this as a perfect opportunity to turn the Green Ranger against the other Rangers. Now, basically, what he means is what his plan is going to be first is he's going to try to take, not take Tommy's powers away, but turn him against the Rangers, sort of similar to what Rita did back in the Green with evil 5-part episode. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that is because of what's going to happen. I just wanted to get that out of the way. And then Zedd explains his plan to Goldar about how to weaken the Green Ranger's powers this time, because basically every single plan of Zedd's from this point, from episode 7 to about episode 13, is going to be to basically wipe out Tommy's powers, and there's a bit of a good reason for that in this case, and it's actually stated by Zedd in episode 9, which is the last episode of the 1 segment that I will cover before I do the 10 segment. Anyway, but I won't explain about that until I get to that point. I just wanted to mention it. And then, basically, Goldar wonders how they can destroy, Tommy, and then Zedd basically says that first, they need to destroy the Rangers by having them call forth the Sword of Power. Now, basically, I'm going to explain about what the Sword of Power is. It's a sort of like Jason's power weapon, the Power Sword, except it can only be called forth by all 6 Rangers, meaning that, it can only be called forth but when all the 6 Power Rangers are together. And well, first what happens is when it goes into the youth center, I'm just gonna get back into it with Zedd for a second because I kind of skipped ahead with that part. Anyway, after that, what happens is they're in the youth center for a little bit, and then Tommy tells them that he's got to hit the library before it closes, because I'm guessing he's got to return a book by this point, and that book that he's going to return actually plays a hand in Zedd's latest monster, because you know how I stated how Zedd brings his monsters to life, he creates them from some things, and some of them. Now this, I kind of feel, is sort of a reference to the first season, because the monster that he's going to bring to life is actually from a page of a book. Now, I think when they made this episode in particular, they made it as a reminiscent for season 1, so they made episode 7 of season 2 sort of similar to that. Now, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyway, basically, Goldar wonders how they can destroy the Power Rangers. They won't be able to destroy them, but first, in order to do so, he wants to. Then Zedd basically tells Goldar that first they need to get their hands on. He wants to get his hands on the Sword of Power, which. Now, I'm going to explain about the Sword of Power very quickly. The Sword of Power can only be called forth when all 6 Power Rangers are together, basically. And, basically what happens is after that, Goldar wonders what the plan is to deal with Tommy, like I said, and then Zedd said that first they can separate the Rangers one at a time. Tommy first to the Dark Dimension. Like they want it. Zedd wants Goldar's putties to capture him and take him to the Dark Dimension for a little chat. And basically, that's when Tommy realized, now I'm gonna get back into it with the Rangers. After that, Tommy realizes that he has to hit the library before it closes. So he goes through the park to where the library is, and that's when Zedd's putties show up, and then basically he fights them a little, and then they capture him, and then they teleport him to Zedd's version of the to another dimension where he has a talk with Goldar, and then basically Goldar tells him that now that he's captured, he will fall under Zedd's spell and have the Rangers call forth the Sword of Power. And then, but when Tommy overhears that segment, because he said that he won't be, because he won't turn against his friends ever again. But then Goldar says that he will, so he said that after he steals the Sword of Power, he will, well, after he returns to the Rangers, he will have them call forth the Sword of Power, steal it, and then bring it to them, back to him, basically. And then that's when Goldar uses Zedd's staff to put Tommy in Zedd's trance, and then he says that, then Tommy said that he will obey him. And then it goes into the next scene after that, and then Goldar says that it feels just like old times, which is kind of ironic because this is the second time Tommy's been mind-controlled by the enemy. I say second time because the first time was back in the Green with Evil 5-part episode I covered. That's what I mean by second time. And then Goldar says that his mind is no longer his own, and then he looks down at the ground and he sees the book that Tommy had, which I think is the book that he was probably going to return, and then he looks at the pages, and then he sees the page of this goat monster with a yellow spear bubble on its chest, and then he says that what a powerful warrior this goat-based creature would make, and he tells Lord Zedd that he submits this image for his approval. Now, basically, that monster is known as the Robogoat. And then when Zedd sees that, he's like, perfect. He'll be a surprise for the other Power Pests. He'll destroy the other Power Rangers. Goodbye, Power Rangers. Say hello to the Robogoat. And then once the Robogoat is created, it says in a goat-like way that it says, like, I am Robogoat, ready to butt heads with the Power Rangers. And then Goldar sends Tommy back with where the other Rangers are. And then basically after that, Zordon contacts the other Rangers on their communicators. And then the Rangers teleport to the command center, and then Zordon tells them about Zedd's latest monster because of the fact that the reason why Zordon contacted them first was because Alpha had realized that Zedd had sent down a new monster. Preliminary analysis showed a monster that had the ability to control electrical fields and mystical and mechanical kind of sources and so on and so forth, which was the Robogoat. And then basically Zordon contacts the Rangers and has them teleport to the command center, and that's when Tommy showed up, and he's, like I said, he's under Lord Zedd's trance. And then after that, what basically happens is that Zordon basically says that to the Rangers that they have a crisis to deal with the Robogoat, and he tells them to behold the viewing globe. And then Zach basically says that he wonders who the goat, I can't really remember, but I think one of the Rangers says that wonders what the goat creature is, and then basically Zordon explains that its name is Robogoat, which is a weird name for a goat-based monster, but I'm not trying to confuse it. I'm just saying. It's kind of a weird name for a goat-based monster to be called Robogoat. And then basically Zordon tells the Rangers that it draws its power from mystical and mechanical sources. And then basically what happens is that Tommy, who's still under Lord Zedd's trance at this point, says that he's ready to deal with the Robogoat. But Jason says that maybe they should try to conserve his power because they might need him for and then Zach said that they might need him for a bigger battle. And then that's when Tommy tells Zordon that why doesn't the Rangers call forth the Sword of Power, which was the reason why he was put under the trance in the first place by Goldar using Zedd's staff. Oh my god. And then basically what he says to Zordon while he's under the trance is why doesn't he and the Rangers call forth the Sword of Power? Because maybe the sword's power could give him an extra boost of energy to sustain throughout the fight. Which, in this case, kind of would make sense that it would. Because if the Sword of Power has energy, it could temporarily strengthen his powers. So I guess in this case it kind of made sense. But he was under Lord Zedd's trance when he said that. So that's where I'm kind of confused. If he just said that to have them call forth the sword so he could take it. But personally, I think it makes sense. But it's also a little confusing to me anyway. And then after the Rangers call the Sword of Power together, Tommy laughs at them and calls them fools, and he tells them that their days are numbered, Power Rangers. And then he escapes with the Sword of Power, and then I can't remember, but I think it might be either I think it's Kimberly that says that she can't believe this is happening again. Which is kind of true, because this is the second time Tommy has had his mind controlled by the enemy, because the first time was back in Season 1 in the Green with Evil 5-part episode. And then, basically, Tommy goes to where Goldar is with the Sword of Power, and then Goldar tells him that it's good that he's got the sword, and now he wants Tommy to give it to a friend of his, which is the Robogoat. And then after he gives it to the Robogoat, Zedd's trance wears off, and then Tommy realizes what he had done at this point. And then basically Goldar, I can't remember, but I think Goldar might have sort of mocked him a little when he told him that he wants him to use up his powers. It's exactly what they want him to do. And then basically he morphs to his Ranger form, and then basically after he morphs to his Ranger form, what happens is he goes to try to get the Sword of Power back. And then afterwards he starts fighting the Robogoat a little on his own. And then basically what happens is then the Rangers locate Tommy. And then Zordon tells them that Tommy's out of Lord Zedd's trance, but his powers are weakening, because basically what happened was the Robogoat knocked him onto the cliff ground area, and then basically what happened is he was saying that his dream was coming true with him losing his powers kind of thing. And then basically, as I said, Zordon tells the Rangers that Tommy's out of Lord Zedd's trance, but his powers are weakened. So the Rangers morph to their Ranger form to deal with the Robogoat and help Tommy out. And then they're wondering what the Robogoat had done to Tommy. And then basically the Robogoat says that why don't they battle him one at a time. He tells the Red Ranger that he'll deal with him first, and then the others can wait down below. Now basically what I think he actually did was he trapped him inside his chest part of his body. And then basically then it goes into a segment with Tommy, and then basically after that basically what happens is he tries to use his Dragon Dagger flute, and then he realizes well, actually, Jason battles the Robogoat a little, and then after that, what happens is he manages to free the Rangers, and they try to bring the Power Blaster together, but then Zedd realizes that, and he says, "It's time to help our warrior. So, Rangers, you want to have a barbecue? Well, try this for size." And he throws his potion down, and the Robogoat. Well, actually, before that happened, the Robogoat still had the sword, and then afterward, Zordon teleported it back to the command center where it belonged. Well, because Tommy tried to get the power sword of power back from the Robogoat, and then after that, that's when the Rangers managed to get the sword of power away from the Robogoat, and then teleporting it back to the command center where it belongs, and they try to bring the Power Blaster together, and then as I said, basically, Zedd like, "It is time to help our warrior. So, Rangers, you want to have a barbecue? Well, try this for size." And then he throws his potion down to earth, and then basically the Robogoat catches it, and then he manages to, then he pops the top off of it and makes it explode and makes him grow, and then the Rangers deal with him in the Megazord, and then Tommy tries to call on his Dragon Zord to help them, but his powers don't work, and he realizes that his dream is coming true after all, and then he's telling Zordon to bring him into the fight, and then basically what happens after that is the Rangers manage to defeat the Robogoat, and then Zedd gets a little upset because they had the sword of power in their hands and it slipped through them, and then basically then it goes into his, and then he tells them that this is not over by any means. Well, actually, after that the Rangers are back together, and then basically after a little talk, that's where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will probably try to post this tomorrow. So until then, guys, just like I said, please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys probably sometime next time for the next video. So until then, guys, like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.